Howdy, howdy. We are back.
We're back.
Back again.
We're back.
Once again, we are the Puck Buddy Podcast. With your host here, we got Eddie Murad, myself, Bo Hendrickson, and Cam is chiming in from somewhere around the world. Where in the world are you?
Somewhere. None of you know where. It's just somewhere.
Just somewhere. Somewhere, California, somewhere.
Over the
Nebraska.
rainbow.
I've never been there before, but
Yeah.
heard it's a great place.
Where in the world is Cameron Che Diego?
Che Diego. We may never know.
Never know.
But anyways, yeah. Once again, Puck Buddy Podcast is here, and we are here to provide you with some expert fantasy analysis for your fantasy hockey season.
Oh, bam.
We are now here in week 5. Getting a little deeper in the fantasy hockey season.
So deep.
But for today, we got a pretty easy schedule for our podcast. We're gonna do a couple of news and notes. Then some injuries. There's a lot of injuries.
Ugh.
And then we're just going to hop straight into waivers. So let's just get this.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, let's get this started. What news do we got today, Eddie?
Okay, so the biggest news that I thought came through was Bryan Bickell's diagnosis with multiple sclerosis. And it's really heartbreaking to see him go through this. It's a disease where it breaks down the myelin around your nerve cells. And it affects the brain and the spinal cord and eyesight, and it's pretty much it can be career ending, which really sucks. And Bryan Bickell is 30 years old. He currently plays for the Hurricanes right now, but he's a 3-time Stanley Cup champion with the Blackhawks, which is crazy. And he was such a good player for them. He was so clutch in the playoffs, like a big boy, hard skater. It stinks to see him going out like this. Hopefully he'll be back. You never know.
It's a tough one to come back
Only
from.
time will tell,
Exactly. So, prayers out to him from us, and I'm sure from the rest of the hockey world. We don't want to see a good player go out like that, but hopefully, again, we'll see him playing soon, hopefully, and hopefully he'll be back with his family. But moving on from the sad news, we got some stellar stars of the week. And starting off at number 3, I'll just kick it off. We got the Pekka. We got Pekka Rinne posting a 3-0-0 record this week, which is really good. And he's got a .67 goals against average, .976 save percentage, and 1 shutout. And these were
that's awesome.
Yeah, these were actually some tough games. They were against Ottawa, who's hot right now, St. Louis, and Anaheim. So not an easy schedule he had going, but he performed, stood on his head.
Especially since they've been struggling out the gates. So those are big 3 wins for him.
Yes.
It's amazing that in those 3 games he only allowed 1 against.
Yeah.
I know. That's crazy.
Great.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Then our second star of the week, Mark Scheifele. I think he's actually maybe was he top point getter right now?
Yeah,
he's got 10 goals, 10 assists for the
he's leading
entire
the
year.
Yeah, he's tied with someone for 20 points. So
yeah, I know McDavid has 19, so he's below him. But anyways, Scheifele with 3 goals, 3 assists in 4 games, helping the Jets get a 8-7-2 record, so putting them above 500.
Woo.
And yeah, he's like we said, he's currently leading. He's second in goals in the NHL, but first in points. So it's pretty impressive. No one really expected him.
He's second in goals.
Is he tied with Tyler Seguin?
He's tied with Tyler Seguin with points, and he's second with goals. Patrick Laine's ahead of him with 11 goals. Scheifele, Pasternak, Grabner, and Crosby all have 10 goals and are tied for second.
Yeah, so he's putting up a pretty balanced stat sheet. So
stat sheet right there, yeah.
Yeah, the stat stuff for Mike Scheifele. Mark Scheifele.
Mike, his weird brother.
Yeah. The forgotten one, Mike Scheifele.
The lesser known Mike Scheifele.
I thought my name would never get mentioned. He's probably so excited.
Well, the number 1 star of the week that I'm just going to jump into really quick is Tuukka Rask. He is 4-0-0 with a .75 goals against average and a .970 save percentage with 2 shutouts in those 4 games.
Ooh.
That is incredible. He, pushed the Bruins to a 9-0-1 10-game streak to take second in the Atlantic Division. He snuffed the Sabres, the Avs, the Jackets, and the Coyotes. Out of those four, Columbus seems to be doing very well. So to see him take them out as easily as he did is very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that wraps up 3 stars of the week. I think, and that wraps up our news as well. So we'll just hop right into this list of injuries. It's pretty large, so just go right into it. Ryan O'Reilly, he's been out on November 12th with a middle body injury. Not really sure where or what, but the middle of the body.
Right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle. Very specific. But for now, he's considered day-to-day. Hopefully they'll give us a little more information as we go, but that's kind of tough because for the Sabres, he's putting up 9 points in 13 games.
Mm-hmm.
They'll definitely miss him. Another Sabres that is on the sidelines, Tyler Ennis. He's going to supposedly miss 2 months with a double sports hernia surgery. That's not good.
Ugh.
So, yeah,
I think it's going to be longer than that, to be honest, because when I was reading some of the reports this morning, they said that is a very low-ball estimate from the doctors.
Yeah, they usually do that. They try to be as optimistic as possible, but I think you're right, Cam. He's going to be out for a while.
Yeah.
It's not just a simple surgery,
Yeah, definitely not. So that's going to be 2 tough losses for the Buffalo Sabres right there.
Yeah, poor tennis.
Oh, poor guy. So let's move on to another injury, Justin Falk. He's been on IR.
What the Falk?
Yeah, oh, man. No, since November 11th with an upper body injury. He has 9 points in 11 games.
Yeah, it stinks.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
It really
Might
is.
be his Falk.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
We never know whose Falk it is.
But that's unfortunate. He's one of my second defensemen, so it's tough having him out.
Yeah, and probably the only defenseman on Carolina at this point.
The only one that matters, really.
Yeah, for real. For any.
They have other defensemen?
I don't think
Pretty
so.
sure they don't.
I think Jordan Stahl does a little bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, they have to.
Yeah. They might change his eligibility to, center and defense.
Yeah.
We'll see about that one then.
So next on the list, we'll move on to Colorado. We have Matt Duchene out day-to-day with concussion-like symptoms. Should be back at the end of the week, of next week or the following week. So just stay tuned. And by next week, I actually mean this week. So he should be back by the end of this week or next week is what I mean.
But yeah, who really knows with concussions though?
It's tough to tell.
It's always up in the air. You always want to be a little optimistic.
Yeah, and for struggling Avs, it's definitely a big hit to them too.
Yeah.
One of their stars out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I read this morning also that he possibly could have played last game, but they wanted to keep him as healthy as possible and not take any risks. So
Yeah.
I think he's really close to returning.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah. Moving on though, we got Anze Kopitar. He was injured on November 12th and is considered day-to-day with an upper body injury. And yeah, so
It's tough one for the Los Angeles Kings. That's their captain, their best player. It's not going to get much easier losing both him and Quick for now.
and Zadkov.
Yeah, and Jeff Zadkov, their backup goalie, or is he their backup goalie? Who really knows? But anyways, Jeff Zadkov out on Friday with a lower body injury. So now Budai will be their primary starter.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for them. Even as a Sharks fan, I just feel so bad for the Kings. They have not caught a break this year.
They have not. It's been rough for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Budai is going to be their starting goaltender. If you need some kind of start, I mean, Budai won't hurt you, or he might hurt you, but there could be.
I think as a third goalie, he would not hurt you at all. I think as a third goalie, he's going to see some starts now.
He might hurt you
starts now,
emotionally, but not physically.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think, honestly, Budai will get you wins. The Kings have been pulling off wins kind of out of their rear, so...
Out of the Budai belly? The Budai belly?
Yeah.
They've been rubbing that Budai belly.
Got to get whatever luck you can
All right,
these
so,
days.
Yeah, right. Really quick, I'm going to move on to two people that mean a lot to me personally. The second one more than the first, but the first one is Chris Kreider. Yeah. My mom is that would know. Chris Kreider was sidelined on November 13th with another upper body injury. Has not been traveling with the team on the road trip. I don't know how long he's going to be out. I haven't been able to find any updates to this point.
Is there any clown updates?
Not even clown updates.
Not even a clown update.
Not even a clown update.
Yeah.
In case you guys are wondering what he's talking about, I forgot that I had added, instead of traveling with the team, Chris Kreider has been seen chasing those creepy clowns with a machete. Good on you, Kreider, and I forgot to delete that. So, to all our listeners, that is what made Eddie laugh and make that comment. Our second, by the way, he's not on IR right now, is he?
Not yet.
Not yet. He might.
But there's a very good
keep
chance.
Keep an eye on that. I think he's going to be on it soon, so keep an eye out for Chris Kreider going on to IR.
Yeah, I heard that there's a good chance that it might be a aggravated injury. I know he had some problems with his neck. He had problems, which is pretty serious. So if he re-aggravated that, that's huge, and he could miss a decent amount of time. But we can always, remain hopeful.
Let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah, definitely. So you want to tell us this next one, Cam? I know it's pretty close to your heart.
Probably the most important of our injury list.
I think this is probably the most important injury news we've had to date, and I mean we as humankind. Michael Neuwirth. He's out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah.
No.
Lower body injury.
Cam.
And the reason this becomes even more terrifying. What's up?
Say it ain't so. Just say it's not so. Just say it ain't so.
I can't say it's not so. And what really freaks me out about this injury, and let's be completely honest now, Neuwirth was not doing very well, even though he was my buddy at the beginning. I still have faith in him. However, leaving Mason as the primary netminder in Philly, I think is even more scary than the competition they were having for worst goalie in the league.
Yeah.
So, although Mason did have a very nice save 2 games ago to help them win, solidify that win, but the game that Neuwirth was injured in. But 4 to 6 weeks, he's out. Expect Mason to be the starter. If you have Mason, that means you'll get wins, but you will lose every other goalie category.
So,
yeah. Very scary.
Yeah. It's definitely a brutal one for not only the Philadelphia Flyers, but for Cam in general. So the next injury we got on our list, Anton Strawman. He currently is suffering from an upper body injury. He ended up taking a shot from Joe Thornton, and I know that's kind of unbelievable because Joe Thornton never shoots the puck. So he might have passed it at him. But anyways, Anton Strawman is unknown, for no timetable given of when he will be returning. So that's, bummer for the Lightning. So these next couple of names, I'm going to go through pretty quick. There's some names that they've been injured for a while, a little bit of long-term injury, but we're expecting them hopefully back within this week, hopefully, if not next week.
But yeah.
So Patrick Sharp, they're hoping that he'll play the Sunday matchup versus Vancouver. He hasn't cleared concussion protocol, but he should be back soon, and the Stars really need him. Any healthy body is good for them at this point. I'm
going to jump in. I think I made a mistake really quick. I actually put that in there. It's past the Sunday matchup, so he actually did not play.
I was going to say they just played Vancouver on this Sunday, so it's next.
So, I apologize. That was actually my blunder. I put the wrong day and the wrong team. I was looking at a different sheet. But last Sunday, Sharp did not play against Vancouver, just to make that clear.
They did expect him to come back during that week, but he ended up not coming back on the Sunday game. So they're hoping they'll come back this week, though. But still hasn't cleared the protocols or anything, but we'll see.
Well, there we go. Sharp, we'll expect him back this week then.
Yeah.
Another star that we're hoping to see soon, Jason Spezza. He's been out with a lower body injury. He's been skating with the healthy scratches of the Stars, so they expect to see him out there soon. Zach Parise, he's very, very close to returning. He's been skating hard and is expected to return either Tuesday or Wednesday. And once he starts, you got to start him immediately.
Mm-hmm.
He's a must start at that point. Another name, Jonathan Druin of the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's been suffering from a concussion for a while. And they're hoping to have him back in this upcoming 5-game road trip that the Tampa Bay Lightning are taking. So we'll see if he'll come back soon. Then next one is Thomas Vanek. He's been out with a hip flexor injury. Expected to return on Sunday, but we'll see. I think that was this Sunday, so we'll see if he actually returned. I don't believe he did. And then
He did not.
Yeah, so hopefully this week we'll see him. Then Travis Hamonic. He's had an upper body injury. He took a shot to the hand and got a broken thumb.
Ooh.
Which you would think would take you out for a couple of weeks, but they think he's going to end up playing this week. So that just kind of shows how tough a hockey player can be. Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Jesus.
He's going to man it out.
What?
Yeah. They must be, he must be taking a lot of Advil or something.
Or something.
You don't want some of that Advil.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the store brand, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that wraps up our injuries right now. Like we said, there's a lot of injuries. If any of these guys have an IR next to their name, you throw them right on that IR spot because there's a lot of them. So with all these injuries happening, you're probably going to want to pick up some new players since you have to throw some guys on your IR. Let's hop right into waivers.
Let's help with that.
Yeah, we can. That's what we're here for, right?
That is. It is.
Do our good deeds to society. So let's hop right into our waivers right now. We're going to give you a couple of forwards. I think I'm going to start us off with Patrick Maroon. So if you guys don't know right now, there's this really good player, and he's playing with Patrick Maroon, and his name is Connor McDavid.
Ooh.
So the great one.
I've never heard of that guy. Never heard of him.
He's a little unknown, but
Is that like a new McDonald's item?
it could be the McDavid.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah, it's
to go with your Gilroy garlic fries.
Ooh.
I think it might be pronounced McChicken, but I'll double check while you guys talk about Patrick.
You could be right about that one. So yeah, Patrick Maroon has been playing with McChicken, and they've been tearing it up as of recently. Maroon wasn't really performing as well, but as soon as they put him on McDavid's line, he has points in 5 of his past 6 games. He currently has a 3-game point streak, and that's 7 of his 9 points have been with McDavid. So that's huge. And he's also a good fantasy producer in that he'll also give you penalty minutes. Over the past 3 seasons, he has had over 80 penalty minutes in each one of those seasons. So, that's always great to have. So expect, as long as he's with McDavid, that he's going to perform, and he's going to do it on a nightly basis. So, I'm all in on Patrick Maroon. If you can get him, I would pick him up as soon as you can. So the second name that I want to get into, another left winger, Antoine Roussel. He currently plays on the Dallas Stars. He's on the second line with Sagan and Patrick Eves. So they ended up breaking Sagan and Ben apart, but this is great news for Antoine Roussel. He was actually the number 1 fantasy player of Week 4. He put up 3 goals, 3 assists, and 16 penalty minutes, 11 shots, and 4 hits, and he's currently riding a 6-game point streak.
Boom.
So that's pretty impressive for the Stars in general, who have been struggling to put up points.
Mm-hmm.
So, if someone's hot like Roussel, you got to keep him going. And one more thing I want to mention, because you know how I said Patrick Maroon has been putting up 80 penalty minutes in his past 3 seasons? Well, Patrick Maroon is putting that to shame. In his past 3 seasons, he's averaging over 120 penalty minutes in each one of those
You
seasons.
mean Antoine Roussel?
Yeah.
Antoine Roussel is doing that.
Yeah, he is the one doing that.
You said Patrick Maroon.
Well, I wish Patrick Maroon was doing that, but Antoine Roussel, yeah, over 120 penalty minutes averaged per season.
Damn.
So that's a good pickup in my book. If you can get someone that's producing and giving you penalty minutes, that's a solid waiver pickup.
You can just go meet Gudas,
Yeah,
and they can have little tea parties
if you
in
don't
the
mind if I
box.
jump in real quick, Bo?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to give you a little bit more perspective on those numbers. In 80 games played, 8-0 by Roussel last season, he had, let me triple check this, 123 penalty minutes, just like Bo said. Now, Bo did also mention that this season already he has 54 in just 16 games played.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys catching me? He's almost halfway, right, to
Yep.
his penalty minutes last season in only 16 games. So expect that to continue. I believe that'll be his highest attribute at this point. Last thing I'll say about Antoine Roussel is, with all the injuries, I think this is the reason why he's had to step up and score. It's because they're missing a lot of their key guys. I believe that the injuries are going to come to an end soon. So this is someone that I wouldn't personally pick up for these point totals for the long haul for the rest of the season. However, I would definitely think about picking him up at least for the next week, because he will be facing New Jersey, Colorado, and Edmonton all at home. So if there was ever a last chance week to just squeeze the last little milk out of Roussel, it would be this. So pick him up today if you can.
Well, while we're on that topic, I'm just going to throw another one out there, since he's got the same matchups and they're on the same line. But it's Patrick Eaves, if you don't mind me saying.
Love that guy.
Loving him. I mean, he's only 12% owned right now, but in his last 5 games, he's had 4 goals, 3 assists, and 13 shots. And of course, it's because he's been on a line with Sagan. You know, that guy can really dish it.
Oh, yeah.
So he's never really been known to be a prolific point producer, but he's already reached the 12-point mark in 15 games versus 17 points in 54 games last year. So he's doing okay. You know, he's having himself a year. But he's definitely being exploited by the elite talent around him, so you want to take advantage of that too. And like you said, Cam, like they're going to have a great homestead this week versus New Jersey and the Avalanche and the Oilers. So, you know, you're gonna want to start your stars this week.
Yeah, you got to make sure to check under your tree, because Patrick Eaves is coming early this year, boys.
All those people getting Christmas trees in November. Cam.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey.
Did you get one yet?
I haven't gotten it yet. Not yet.
Don't worry, Patrick Eaves will be under there soon.
Yeah, he's just waiting for you to get that tree up. Hell yeah.
You know who else that I wish would be under my tree this year?
Who?
Would be Alexander Wenberg.
Oh, he's so good.
This kid, okay, he's a center for who else but the Jackets. He is 34% owned, which is low, actually, in my opinion, for what he's done so far.
Oh, definitely.
But he is a rook, so we'll see. But in 13 games played, he has 2 goals and 13 assists. That is 13 assists, tied for second in the NHL. His +7 has 8 power play points. I'm going to repeat that. 8 power play points.
That's incredible.
In the last 5 games, he has 1 goal and 6 assists. The only downside to him picking him up right away this week are Colossus' matchups. They are at home versus Washington and New York Rangers, and then they are away at Washington. Those are 2 tough teams that they're playing, Washington twice. So you may want to wait for like 6 days.
But Cam, excuse me, Cam. Excuse me. They scored 10 goals against the Canadians, the best team in the East.
And once again, I will say that was not Carey Price, and I do not believe the Jackets have it in them to score 10 against Carey Price, let alone Holtby or the King. So for me,
the King, you mean the Rangers?
It depends. I mean, Ronson might play for New York.
That's true, but he's been good too. So
he's been really. I mean, I'll talk about him a little bit later. He is my pick.
Okay.
For my waivers goalies, but it just honestly, I'm a Jackets fan. Love Wenberg. Honestly, I would say you may just want to wait a little bit, or if you pick him up, he might be the guy you sit for someone else, like Roussel or Maroon or something like that. But we'll talk about that when we do our starts and sits later on.
Sounds good.
Okay, let me move on to my last forward. I'm sorry, I have so many. However, Radim Verbata, he's a right winger, and he is only 8% owned. I mean, he's on Arizona, so I understand why. But he's in 14 games, he has 6 goals and 5 assists, and 39 shots.
Bam.
Last 5 games, he has 2 goals and 3 assists. That's a point per game average. And let's see, he scored in the last 2 Coyotes games, even though they've lost. And he has a +1 overall in the season. Let me give you a little insight. The highest in the team is a +2, and they're averaging around the -3 range. So he's on a Coyotes team that is not doing very well. They have like a -7, a -6, a couple of those.
Yeah.
He seems to be producing at a higher rate than last year, and he's shooting the puck more, and he's still on the plus side of things. I think this is someone you need to consider for your right wing spot, considering right wings are the weakest section in our fantasy league.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's killing it though for an Arizona Coyote.
Which is very hard to do nowadays.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go to the last of the forwards, which is my guy. So, if you guys haven't heard, Paul Byron's been doing okay. He is
Okay.
6% owned, and he's got 5 goals, 5 assists, +7, and he's got 18 shots and 21 hits on the season. His production really started ramping up after he was placed on the top line of Montreal with Galchenyuk and Radulov, and he's had 5 points in the last 5 games with 7 shots and 10 hits in that span as well.
Wow.
And this,
Wow.
yeah, he's been ramping it up pretty good. And this week, the Canadians have some really good matchups. I mean, they have a tough one at home versus the Panthers on Tuesday, but at Carolina on Friday, and home versus the Maple Leafs on Saturday. So that's pretty juicy for them. I'm sure they're going to exploit those matchups, and you better start the top line of the Canadians.
Oh yeah, best team in the NHL. It means they gotta have one of the best first lines in the NHL. So
Oh yeah. Just don't play them against the Columbus Blue Jackets.
that's a mistake every time.
Yeah. Wait, so Byron plays with Galchenyuk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Galchenyuk is on my team, right?
Oh yeah.
If you're lucky enough, yes.
So if he's playing with someone that has the honor of being on my team, I mean, no brainer, right? Pick him up.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm dropping.
Not every team could be like your team, Cam.
I wish so hard. But yeah, we'll move on now.
Yeah, let's look at a couple of defensemen.
For sure.
You want to
mind
start
if
us
I
off,
just
Cam?
really quickly get my Jacob out of the way?
Ooh.
So I've been really excited to talk about this guy. So Jacob Trouba, all right?
So
He is
Chuba.
29% owned, and he just came back from injury from earlier this season. He has only played 2 games so far. He has no points, 5 shots and 1 hit. Now I know you're thinking to yourself, "Wow, those are not very impressive numbers."
The hell,
You're
Cam.
Hey, what
For
are you telling us
2 games,
this?
for 2 games, as a defenseman, no points, whatever. Only 1 hit, whatever. But last year in 81 games, he had 6 goals, 15 assists, 62 penalty minutes, and was +10. The reason the +10 is important is remember where Winnipeg was last year.
At the top?
Please. You're actually on the opposite end of the spectrum right now. You might want to flip it over. So
Just gonna flip
another
though really
thing
quick.
flip it over. I don't know where I'm going more. Anyway, 2 really important numbers to think about. Trouba has played 23 minutes and 14 seconds in the first game, and then 27 minutes and 53 seconds in the second game. I expect the production to increase very shortly. Upcoming games include home against Chicago and then away to Philadelphia and to Boston. Not fantastic matchups, except for Philadelphia, as Mason will be in net. But I believe this is a long-term defender, not just a week-to-week pickup. He just signed a 2-year, $3 million deal with the Jets as a restricted free agent. He actually asked to be traded away from the Jets last year, but now as they have become really hot, he wants to stay, and I think he wants to bring them, to the playoffs. And he is one of their top puck-moving defensemen. Corsi, puck possession rating over 50% in all of his past 3 seasons. I believe this is someone you cannot overlook for a really good defensive pickup.
Yeah.
True.
Totally agree. Very true. True. But
So true.
nice.
Truly Trouba.
All right. Well, I totally agree with what you're saying, and it's pretty exciting for them to acquire him again and to have that blue line stacked to the fullest because they've been looking pretty good. So hopefully they can get all the pieces together and make a playoff run. That'd be pretty exciting. My guy is going to be on another Canadian team who's been doing pretty well. Not as of late, but we're talking about Oscar Klefbom, the bomber. Yeah. So right now he's leading Edmonton with 21 minutes and 49 seconds of ice time per game and is getting 2 minutes and 12 seconds on the power play, which is some good power play time as well. His numbers have been stymied by the past 3 games with the losing streak that they've been going through. But they do have interesting matchups this week. They are in Anaheim on Tuesday, they're in LA on Thursday, and they're in Dallas on Saturday. And for a very potent Edmonton team, those are very good matchups for them. So we'll see how they do. Right now, the Oilers' PDO, which is their kind of like a stat for puck luck, is below 100. And normally all teams end up averaging out towards the 100. So since they're below right now, you can only expect that to go back towards the average and then to have an upward trend very soon, especially with how good a team they are. And right now, Clefbaum has been playing the best hockey of his career, with possession numbers being above 50 or 50% for the first time in his career, and his on-ice shooting percentage being the best in his past 4 seasons at a 9.5, which previously his best was a 7.9. So you should be patient with Clefbaum. Yeah, be patient with him because his numbers are definitely going to go up, especially being on the top line and the top power play unit. So
this Clefbaum's about to explode.
Boom! Thank you, Bo.
Prepare yourself for that.
For that one.
Okay, well, now that that booming pick, the Clefbaum's out of the way, I'll give you my defenseman waiver pickup of the week.
The trick-ass Mark.
Yeah, Andrei Markov.
Yeah.
He's been having himself a week, guys. Let me tell you this. He's currently sitting on the season with 2 goals, 9 assists, and 5 power play points for the Montreal Canadiens. He's actually the second best defenseman in week 4. Pretty impressive. He's got 1 goal, 4 assists, +3 and 3 power play points this week.
Wow.
So he's on a tear right now, a 5-game point streak, and within those 5 games, he's had 2 multi-point games. So that's pretty impressive for a defenseman. They usually don't put up that many points, let alone have a 5-game point streak. So if you can get it while it's hot, buy yourself some Markov, because he's on fire right now.
They're marking off the price.
Yeah, you can get on huge discount.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so Andrei Markov, he's currently he's in the second pair, so he's not playing with Weber right now, but that could always change. But he's still on the first power play unit with Weber, and anyone who's playing with the number 1 fantasy defenseman right now at any time of the day is a good pickup in my book. So let's look to pick him up while you can. All right, so I'm just gonna hop right into the goalies as well. Now that we got the defensemen out of the way. This guy, he's actually been pretty impressive in the shadows of Craig Anderson. This guy, Mike Condon. So he's only had a couple of games.
Why is that funny?
I don't know why that's so funny.
Just the way Bo says it.
Yeah,
the way you said it was just great. I heard condom. Like,
you did.
Really safe sex.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
Well, he isn't.
I know you didn't.
Hey, this condom won't break on you, my friend. He's got ultimate protection. He will. Nothing can get past him.
You got to play safe,
Yeah, he's surely the safest goalie waiver pick at this point. Mike Condon. He's played technically 3 games because he came in relief of Anderson, but he's only he's got 2 wins, a .4 goal against average, a .985 save percentage, which is one of the top in the league, if not the top.
Wow.
So he's on a tear, only allowing 1 goal this season, actually, within those 2.5 games, I would say. And just, Ottawa in general has been playing great. They've only allowed 10 goals in their past 8 games. So if you can get a part of that, that Ottawa Senators goaltending tandem, then Mike Condon's your guy. So, yeah. Don't worry.
Your Condon?
Yeah, I would use him.
Or Mike.
I trust in this Condon. He will protect you forevermore. So let's move on to let's move on to the next goalie because talk about.
Well, Eddie, you want to talk about Mr. Andre over there?
Sure, we can move on to Vasilevsky. We've talked about him before. I just want to re-mention him again. He's still only 38% owned, but he's been sporting some awesome numbers. He's been going 3-1-1 in his last 5 starts with a 1.99 goals against average and a 9.32 save percentage. In most situations when he starts, he's a must-start kind of thing. If you need a goalie in a weird situation or if you're down in goalie categories, he's easily a spot starter. And if Bishop ever went down, he should be 100% owned. So he's definitely.
You mean when Bishop goes down?
When he goes downtown, yeah, you better have him on your radar because he'll be number 1 pickup for sure. So
without a doubt.
Yeah. That's all I have to say about him. Just keep an eye on him.
In the game today on Monday, he shut out the Islanders.
Yeah, and there you go.
So, enough said right there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he shut out the Islanders, and then Killorn, my only Tampa Bay Lightning guy. Oh, they had 4 goals. Yeah, he wasn't in on any of them. Thanks, Killorn. Anyway, let me talk about. Let me get my goalie out of the way. I have a goalie that I really, really am standing behind, and then one that I want to mention just to have it on your guys' radar. Antti Raanta is 11% owned. Obviously, plays for the New York Rangers behind the King. He has started out the year 4-0-0. He has a 2.05 goals against average, a .938 save percentage, and he's faced 161 shots against, allowing only 10 goals. He has played 5 games technically because he came in relief of Lundqvist in one of those games, and including that game, he has not allowed more than 2 goals against in any of those 5.
Oh man!
So while he's not playing every single game, it looks as if they're going a 1-3 route with Raanta and Lundqvist. So he will be playing about a quarter of the season, about 25 games total, and he's played 5 so far. Well, 4 or 5 so far. So he's 11% owned. If you need a third goalie, especially if Lundqvist ever gets injured, this is the guy to pick up. I really have faith in Raanta. I think he's a great goaltender, and the Rangers are looking really hot.
Wow.
My other guy
Well,
that I wanted to mention.
Would you say that you're all in on this guy? Because he's definitely raising the ante, right?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I think you know what? I'm going all in. I'm going all in.
Well, I fold. So
screw the ante. I'm doubling down. All right.
I was gonna say there's a lot of antes I wouldn't double in on. And
this is one of the few.
One of the few I would.
In case anyone's wondering, we just spoke about like 8 different poker/card games at casinos, trying to convince them to be one. So combine them. Anyway, the last person I want to talk about, Anthony Stolarz. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. The reason I'm mentioning him is he has been called up by the Flyers to replace our Lord and Savior, Michael Neubert. As Neubert heals to return and bring Philadelphia to the Stanley Cup Finals against the San Jose Sharks, Stolarz will be forced to keep those orange jerseys above water. Shark joke. In the AHL last year with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, Stolarz recorded a goals against average of 2.6 and a save percentage of .916. I know what you're thinking. When can we have Waiver back? Like I said earlier, 4 to 6 weeks, guys.
Oh man,
And that's it.
It's too long.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Mason does. This guy might be getting more starts than you realize because Mason is Mason.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
he's literally 0% owned because no one knows who he is. So we'll see. We're gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to say anything about him until I see his first NHL action. I know there have been goalies that have bad AHL numbers that come in and just for some reason mesh with the NHL and vice versa. So although his numbers are not that impressive with the Phantoms, I want to wait to see what happens when he gets on the ice.
Put him on your watch list for sure.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Watch the list, but don't pick him up yet.
Yeah.
Well, okay. That wraps up our goalies and our entire waivers. So I think we got to move into our next section, one that we always enjoy going into. And what is it?
It's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap!
Well, yeah, it is our trap waiver section. So once again, if you do not know what this is, these are players who have recently been performing, but we don't expect them to be a consistent fantasy play.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna give you a couple of names that.
Yeah, I got one right off the bat.
Oh, just hop right into it, Cam.
All right, Pavel Buchnevich. He is 7% owned, which is pretty good for him. In 10 games played, he has 4 goals, 4 assists, is +4, and has 3 power play points. He is on the Rangers' 2nd power play unit and has the potential to be effective. I have 2 issues with Pavel on this one. First, he skates on the 4th line, okay, and he plays the point on the 2nd power play unit. So those 2 things don't necessarily mesh. I'm not saying that it can't work, but not necessarily, holding hands in that section. The second thing is he's had back spasms all summer and all year. That's forced him to miss a couple of games. For me, he's a trap because while he is performing on a pretty good basis and he has that second power play unit for the Rangers, he's currently day-to-day with those spasms, and that's something you do not want to mess around with back injuries. So, to me, I would not pick him up because just in case you pick him up and he gets injured immediately. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on the Pavel.
I'm going to counter that because with the current injury to Kreider, I think they might move him up some lines since he's been performing so well. He's definitely seen some power play time, and he's been doing really well, actually. He's got some sweet hands, sweet moves. He's very smart on the ice. So I actually expect them to use him a little bit more. Just to give you a number here, he's actually been seeing the most power play time along with Rick Nash and Derek Stepan and Jimmy Vesey. So this might be his opportunity to break out, actually, with the injury to Kreider. Still temper your expectations. We don't know very much about him. Like you were saying, he's a rookie. It's hard to trust rookies without any data to back it up. And with the previous injury, of course, it's tough to trust that as well. You never know with injuries, but someone definitely to keep an eye on. I wouldn't pick him up right away, but I could totally see him breaking out and getting a good start with if they move him up in the lineup.
It honestly depends how long Kreider's out for this guy. So I can totally see the trap happening. It just depends when you step on it.
Yeah, and what kind of trap it is.
It is.
Like a mouse trap will get you to a little toe, but if it's a bear trap, you can say bye to your
Yeah,
leg.
no, I gotta be honest, just back to being serious about Pavel. If you look at his history with those back spasms, it's taken him out when he was in the minors for months at a time. So I gotta be honest. I hate to disagree with you, Eddie, to this extent. I love the numbers you brought up with the power play, but because he is currently day to day and it's only like 15 games into the season,
yeah,
I just cannot put my name behind this guy for you to pick him up. I just can't.
I could see that.
All the injuries that are happening.
I understand.
I think if those spasms were not in his history, you know what I mean, and it just happened right now for the first time, I would say, okay, he's just having spasms, let him heal, and then he will move up to replace Kreider, possibly in the second or third line. But he's had a long history fighting this. So
yeah.
For me, I'm no, and I know you're yes, but I like both said. Let's see what the word is on Kreider. If it's going to be a long time, I may revisit this next week, and I'll talk about it next week, and we'll see where we are.
Sounds good.
Agreed.
Okay, let me get my other one out of the way real quick, just so you guys can go on to yours. I gotta be honest, I don't know how to pronounce his first name. Teuvo Teravainen?
I think it's Teuvo Teravainen.
Teuvo?
Yeah.
Teuvo Teravainen.
If you're trying to
so
watch some
I
TiVo.
don't know what shows he's recording. But Teuvo Teravainen. He's 15% owned. In 14 games, he has 4 goals, 4 assists, 3 power play points. Only 19 shots though. He had a 4-point night last game against the Caps, which was a nice surprise, but that's what I'm calling it, a surprise.
Yeah.
Before that night, he had 1 goal in 8 games and was held pointless for 7 straight games. His next 3 matchups are against San Jose, Montreal, and Winnipeg. Although these matchups are all at home, they're still not favorable, and I do not expect another 4-point night this week at the very least. So those are my 2 trap waivers.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
Yeah, no, that's I agree with you there. Never trust a hurricane. So I'm gonna hop right into to my waiver or
what
my
talking about.
I'm gonna hop into my trap waivers player, and that is the brother of actually I don't know who this guy's brother is, but Adam Lowry. I was going somewhere, but I hit a dead end real quick. Adam Lowry. If that joke wasn't bad enough, this player is just as bad. He currently has 4 goals, 2 assists, and 17 penalty minutes, and a bunch of other stats. But the only thing you really need to know about this guy is he has 18 goals and 40 points in 2 seasons.
Ew.
So that right there is 154 games of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He's a third line center on the Winnipeg Jets. He's kind of mooching some second unit power play time. But you know what? You can't trust him. For someone who like has a track record of nothing, like don't even bother with this guy.
Getting a couple points is like the best it's gonna get.
Yeah, so this is the most you'll see from him. So don't pick up him or his brother, which we don't know who it is yet. But yeah, so Adam Lowry, bad choice. So now that we got him out of the way, let's move into a goalie that I don't think you guys should trust either. That's Keith Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
He's the backup for Corey Schneider.
Mm-hmm.
And if that doesn't say enough right there, he's the backup for Corey Schneider, which means he will get no playing time.
Yeah.
Because Corey Schneider just takes the full workload. I know Kincaid has 2 wins, a 1.65 goal against average, and a .944 save percentage. It's pretty solid for any backup, but he's just not going to get the playing time. So even though you might want to invest on those numbers, it's just not going to be worth it because he'll be riding your bench most of the time anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, neither of those guys are worth a pickup in my opinion.
Yep, totally agree. Moving on to our last trap. I got Brandon Sutter for you guys, and right now he's 3% owned, so you might think why are you putting this guy on here? But the real appeal for Sutter is that he is now starting on the top line with the Sedins, and most people might think that's a great boost to a guy who is a hard worker and who's played hard in his seasons, but he hasn't played more than 20 games in his past 2 seasons, and his 30 points has been his ceiling throughout his career. He's been placed on the top line, but it's just because they haven't been doing anything since they got to their 4-0 start in the beginning of the season. Louis Eriksson is clearly the better player. Unfortunately, he just hasn't been performing, which kind of stinks for them.
No chemistry with Louis.
Right, no chemistry at this point. Sutter's PDO is at a career low right now with 94.8, and his Corsi is 48.2. So it's not looking like a spectacular pick. Putting him on the top line will give you a little bit of a boost, and his ceiling will be a little higher. But it's hard to expect much of anything from him, even though his last games he tallied 2 points in the 5-4 victory over Dallas. My advice is just stay away from the Vancouver players altogether, especially Brandon Sutter.
Yeah, I would.
Now, I'm going to jump in real quick. Sorry, Bo. Just to give him a little bit of backup, Brandon Sutter, a little bit of backup. He is Daryl Sutter's nephew, so he has those bird sounds ready to go. If that's something you guys are into, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Is he really? I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, he is.
That's funny. Okay. Well, that's more of a reason just not to avoid. I mean, just to avoid him. So there you go.
Do no trust.
No trust at all.
Well, that wraps up our It's a Trap waiver column.
It's a trap!
And it actually wraps up our entire podcast.
It's a wrap!
So there you go.
All right. See you guys.